everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's tutorial, we're going to do some really fun designing in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to show you how to make some very fun decals using different little techniques to make a name as part of your design. We're going to be using things like slice, weld, group, unite, offsets, and so many things that are going to help you learn how to use Cricut Design Space and become a master. Now, before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. Without further ado, let's head over to Cricut Design Space and get designing. I can't wait to show you how to make these. They're so cute and honestly perfect for Easter, spring, whatever you want to use them for. But we're going to start with a very simple design to show you how to do this. And then I'm going to show you that it's really actually very easy with a fancier design as well. So let's do this kind of Easter themed. So we're just going to use Design Space images, but truly you can use an image from anywhere that you want to. So the first thing I'm going to search for is an egg. And actually let's search for an Easter egg. That way we can just get a better, like maybe a design that we're more interested in. Now, you can just do a plain egg if you want to, and that's honestly absolutely fine. But you can also use some that have maybe some fun patterns on them, some fun designs. Maybe you want something with like some chevron. Whatever the case may be, you can really choose kind of any design that you want to. Now, I kind of like this one with the polka dots. I think that one's cute, but there's a lot of really adorable options in here, and you can really use truly any of them, as long as they are not like this one, which would be for print and cut. But you can use ones like this that have like the little swirlies on them. So let's use that guy because I think that one's pretty cute. Now what I'm going to do, let me size this down just a little bit so he fits better on our screen, and I'm going to scoot him over. First thing that we want to do is we're going to add the text and the offsets and all of that, and then we'll make our solid back layer. First thing I'm going to do is add our text, and we'll just use the name Bella. And I want to change the color of the text so that we can see it better across our egg. I'm going to take our text and just kind of put it across the egg wherever I want it. Do it at the bottom, do it at the top, do it in the center. Whatever you want to do with this is completely up to you, however you want your egg to look. There's not a wrong or right way or right design to make with this. I'm going to put mine a little more at the bottom just so that the like little swirlies show really nicely. Now, the first thing that you want to do with this is you're going to add a offset. Now, if you want your egg and your name fully centered, go ahead and select both of your items, go to align, and you can center them right up here as center horizontally. That's just going to make sure everything's lined up. Now, select your name and you're going to go to edit over here on the left-hand side, and you're going to choose offset. Now, one thing that drives me a little bit crazy about Design Space and what it's been doing lately is you see how it kind of shoved that egg way over? We're going to shove it back this way. So I'm going to add that offset to the name. So I'm just going to choose offset, and you can make this really whatever size you want it to be. It's truly up to you and the way you want your design to look. You can make a thin offset. You can make a thick offset, whatever makes you happy. That looks like a decent size to me, so I'm going to go with that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click apply. Now, there's some fun steps that you have to do in order to create this design. The first thing that I'm going to do, because this is so easy, is I'm going to take this offset and the Easter egg. I'm going to go down to combine, and you can use unite if you think you ever like want to redo it. Maybe you want to move it around later, or you can use weld, but you need these to be two pieces all together, because now what we need to do is we need to slice out the name from that offset. So you're going to select the unite option here and the name, and you're simply going to use slice. Now you can also use exclude. It will do the same thing, and it actually does it a little bit quicker. So that was exclude. You see it was one click and it's done. And what's cool about exclude is you can undo it. But if you use slice, when you click slice, you're going to have some layers that you need to delete to create your egg shape. Now, like I said, you can leave it like this and just cut it as a single layer design, place it onto a shirt. Maybe you want to make a cute little t-shirt with this, or you want to use this on a card or whatever the case may be. You can absolutely do that. This would be so cute that way. But if you want to make like a double layered design, just so you can have like a little bit more dimension, or you want to use some different colors, what you'll do is you're going to duplicate the purple egg, and you're going to go to contour, and then you want to click where it says hide all contours and then click apply. I'll change the color of the egg, and then what I'm going to do is take that one and just drag it under the other. Select both items, you're going to go to align and you're going to center them. Now you see you've just kind of a little more of a fun design, a little bit of a fun color. You can make this really any colors that you want to. And again, this is really fun on shirts or decals or cards. So now that we've made this one, I want to show you a really cute one that I made with a bunny rabbit because it was just so darling that I think you need to see it. And it's so easy with any image. So I want to show you that you can do this. So I'm just going to search for bunny. Now you can do these plain bunnies for sure, absolutely. But what I wanted to do was do a bunny that had like a pattern on it. So I'm just kind of scrolling through, looking at the different bunnies, and I just want to find one that has a cute pattern. Now this one is absolutely darling, but I did find one that I liked a little bit better, and it had like a floral pattern on it. This one's very cute too, but this is just such an easy task that you can do with any of these designs. Now, like I said, have fun with this. Use any of these. You can do this with literally any image that you want to. So give me a second to find that rabbit that I used, and I'll show you how to do this. I found the rabbit that I used. I had to search rabbit and not bunny. So if you want to use this one, if you search rabbit, you'll find it. And if you click over here and you go to image info, this is the design number that you can use to find this one if you want to make this exact same one. So now let's say, okay, we want to add a name to this. I'm going to make it again bigger so you can see. And we're just going to make it with Bella again. And let's use a different font just so you can see that this works with lots of different fonts. So I can choose anything that I want to, but let's say, let's go with Cooper Black. That's usually like a decent font, and that one's pretty cute. And I think it'll work for what we want to do. Now, again, I like to change the color of the font so that you can see it against the black rabbit, but you can change the rabbit's color too. Now for this, I don't want it to take up a ton of the pattern on the rabbit, but I do want her name to kind of go over the bunny. Now you can see here that we've got the B and the E partially off the rabbit, and then the LLA is all over that rabbit. Now, just like the last time we did this, what we want to do is add the offset to the font. So I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to add an offset. Now with this one, I'm going to show you if I make this offset really small, you'll see, well, these letters might be close enough together, but if you make this offset super tiny, you may have a problem where your letters aren't going to connect. Now, like I said, this font's a little chunky. The letters are a little closer together. We're probably not going to have quite that much of an issue with this, but you do want to make sure that your offset is kind of thick, because if your letters are hanging over, you want to make sure everything's going to stay connected. So then I'm going to click apply, and all I want to do is, again, take the rabbit and that offset, and I'm going to combine them. And again, I can unite them or weld them. Now, what's really fun is you can honestly leave it just like this if you want to, and we can still add that additional layer to this if we want to add that additional layer. So what you can do is, again, you're going to just duplicate this rabbit design, and you're going to go and select him, and you want to go to contour. Now, I want to point out that right now contour is being a little bit weird. I have found that sometimes, and it depends on the design, contour doesn't always work. So sometimes if you go to combine and you undo your unite, then you go to combine and you weld them, it'll allow you to contour. Why it does that, I don't know, but you saw that we did it with our eggs and it was fine. So I'm going to go to contour. I'm going to hide all those contours and just click apply down here. Then again, I can change the color of that rabbit. I can send him to the back, and then I can place him behind this rabbit. And now you'll see that you have a really cute like couple color design where you can kind of add that little, element of extra fun into this. So there's a lot of ways that you can do this. Now, if I want to take the Bella, and again, if I want to slice it out, I can absolutely do that. But I think for this one, I want to show you kind of the layered version, because we're going to cut this on some vinyl so that you can see how fun these are and so stinking cute. Now, one thing I want you to note, and I just did it by accident, if you want to resize this, you want to make sure that you have all of your pieces and parts together so that you can resize them all at the same time. If you resize this with just one piece, it's going to not line up. Now, they're not lined up right now, but that doesn't matter. As long as I resize this down all at the same time, it'll be just fine. So you can see I've sized this down to 5.5. That's a pretty good size for a decal. And I also want to show you the egg just because I think the egg is so stinking cute. I also want to show you something else. See how when I pulled this apart, all the pieces, I had to move them? If I don't want to have to do that, let me select the 2 rabbits and I'm going to align them and center them. And then I'm going to grab Bella and I'll get that one lined up as well. All I'm going to do is select everybody and I'm going to group them together. Now, when I go to grab this on my canvas, it all comes together as one piece. But when I go to cut it, it will cut it all on those separate colors. I can do the same thing over here, but I just want to size this one. Actually, that's a pretty good size. So I think we're good with that. Now, again, can you do this with any design? Absolutely. What I love about this is you can do so many different things, so many different designs. You can use so many different images that you want to use. You can use layered images. You can use all sorts of things to create this. So if I just go here, and you'll see right now that it's going to give me all the rabbits because I just looked up rabbits. But you can see there's lots of different things that you could do. You could totally do it with this dinosaur. You could do it with these cherries, hearts, whatever your heart desires, you can make this work. There's so many cute ways that you can work with this. Like this little heart would be really fun. So watch what I can do with this. If I go ahead and add this to my canvas, I can do the same kind of concept, but I can use it with these little fun hearts. Now this is going to be a 4-layer design. So you're going to have purple and then a dark purple and then this pink, and then you have your black layer. If I want to see all of my layers, I can just kind of hit that little down button. Now, one thing that I'm going to point out is you'll see that your black layer is your solid layer, and then each of your hearts is kind of pieced together. So if I want to add her name to these, I can simply just type in her name. And again, I'll use a different font just so you can kind of see some different things that we can do with this. There's one that's really cute that might be ironically, Hello Bella is pretty cute, but I think I want to do potentially Kayla, because that one's kind of cool. That one's got like a little more of a loop to it. So let me scooch this over a little bit. And if we make Bella bigger, so let's make Bella a little bit bigger. Now what we're going to do here is I want Bella to kind of come up at the top of this heart. Now again, what we do, we just simply add that offset. So I'm going to click edit and I want to go to offset. And I want to add an offset. Now, again, we want to make sure that our offset is big enough that the letters are holding together, but you don't have to do anything too big with this. You can definitely size it down a little bit if you want to. Don't worry about like these empty holes. They're not going to affect anything. So you can have those because that's hanging off of your design. So it's totally fine. So I click apply. Now, keeping in mind that we have this black layer, that's our base layer. And then we also have the purple layer. What I want to do is I want to connect the offset just to the back layer for this. Let me change the color of Bella just so we can see it better once we kind of start working with slicing and welding and all of that. The first thing that I want to do is I need to slice her name out of this purple heart because I want to see that black around her name. Now, if we don't like where this is lined up, we can move it, we can resize it before we get started. So I think I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller just because I do want the heart to show through a little bit more as a heart rather than kind of just like a blob. And then once I'm happy with that, what we need to do, we need to ungroup the design right here. So this is our design. You can't really do much with it grouped. So what we're gonna do is click the 2 squares up here and ungroup this. Then what I want to do is I need to slice the offset out of this purple heart. So I'm going to click shift and I'm going to select the offset and I'm going to slice it. Now, you're going to have a lot of little pieces and parts, but what I want you to do is the first thing you're going to do is get rid of the purple heart piece behind your word Bella. But what we're going to do is take all of these little pieces that are the sliced portion of our offset, and I'm going to take the black hearts. I'm going to go down to combine and I'm going to weld them. The reason I did that is because that way I don't have to make another offset. I can just weld all the pieces together to create the design that we want. Right click on your black and you're going to arrange it and send it to the back. And now you'll see that you have that design with the little name kind of sticking out. It's got that kind of dimension to it. And again, we can change colors just to make this a little like, I don't know, more the color that we might want it to be. Maybe we want to do some pastels. Maybe we want that bright blue. Maybe you want to do red. Whatever the case may be, you can kind of play with your colors and just make them whatever you want. So now we've got these 3 designs. Let me just see how big this guy is because I don't want to make him huge. And we can cut these out in any colors that we want to, in any designs that we want to. But I do want to do that so that you can see the different versions of layering that we're going to do with these. It's so much fun to do, and it's honestly a lot easier than you think. Now, I do want to make sure that I save my designs, so I'm just going to call these Bella decals, just since that's basically what they are. Click Save. I always recommend saving before you hit the Make button, just so that you don't have to go back and do any work if something happens with your Cricut. Then when you click Make, you're going to see you're going to have a bunch of mats because we have a bunch of colors on our screen. So I've got a couple in black, and then we've got like this light pink, we've got the yellow, the light blue, the darker blue, we've got light purple, we've got this dark purple and this one, which look very similar, but they are not, and then this pink. Now I'm just going to use whatever random colors, so I'm not worried about what colors they are here on the screen. I'm going to try to cut everything with a StarCraft HD, which is my favorite permanent vinyl, and it cuts on the vinyl setting. So once you're ready to cut, you just click Continue. Now, I have been noticing sometimes that I've been getting this connection fail, and if I click Try Again, it'll usually fail again, so I have to turn my machine off and turn it on even if the machine was connected prior to this. So if you're having trouble with it, just go ahead, turn the machine fully off, let it cycle off, and then cycle it back on, and you should have no problem. We're going to cut out our vinyl. Now I have my white and my black loaded on the same mat. I'll just flip it over when I'm done cutting the white to cut the black. Just a quick little time saver for you. I'm going to get all of these cut out. I've got all my colors laid out in order so I can just load them on my mat and go.
Challenge makes us strong. Keep on moving all day long. Keep on moving all day
long. Ready to do some layering. So I'm going to use my parchment paper hack, which is one of my favorite hacks when it comes to layering any type of permanent removable vinyl because it doesn't stick to parchment paper. I'm going to use some medium tack transfer tape, and I'll link everything that I'm using for this video in the video's description just down below. That way you can find it all. This is StyleTech's medium tack transfer. This is my most favorite. Now what we're going to do is we are going to lay our transfer tape onto our design. Now you can do it two ways. You can either lay it on top or you can just put your transfer tape sticky side up and place your decal down. That's the way I prefer to do it. Then I'm going to grab a squeegee and I'm going to burnish from the back. Then all I'm going to do is peel back the backing from my vinyl, and sometimes you might have a part that didn't stick all the way. That's okay. Just kind of push it back down and you're good to go. Now, to use this parchment paper hack, you're going to take your design and you're going to place it under your paper. Now, I have kind of a big piece of parchment paper. You can use a much smaller piece, but I don't want to break this one apart. And then you're going to take your top layer and place it over the parchment paper. Then what you do is you just gently move your design around until it lines up. Now, I will admit I am not great at lining up white vinyl. I have a hard time seeing it and I'm not amazing at it, but we'll just keep kind of trying until we get it right. You can also turn it, whatever works best for you to get this right. Take your time, figure it out. Now, you're going to see that my white vinyl has this blue backing. Not all white vinyl does, so if yours doesn't, I would recommend getting one that does because it's going to make your life so much easier. Now, what makes this so hard to line up is that this egg is the exact same size as the top egg, so getting it perfectly is a little difficult, especially since the egg is kind of rounded. We're just going to do our best and try to get this as close as we possibly can. But like I said, I'm having a heck of a time really seeing that white, and it's just not great, but I'll do the best I can to get this as close as I can. If it's not perfect, don't come for me. It's not perfect, but it's close. It'll do. It's fine. I don't care. It's good enough for me right now. If I was actually giving that to somebody, I would have definitely tried a lot harder to get that more perfect. Now this one will probably be easier because you can see the blue so much easier over the parchment paper. It's just white for me is really hard to see. So now again, I'm going to get a piece of transfer tape out. Now remember, this one has a couple extra layers because we did the Bella name as a separate piece. So how can we do that? Well, you can do this in a couple ways. You can layer this piece first and then layer on top of that, or you can do it with this full piece, peel off the transfer tape, There's a lot of ways to do this, so just do whichever way works best for you. I'm gonna go ahead and layer this way, and I am gonna trim this down just so it's not so big. I don't need it quite that large. Trim that down, and then I'm just gonna use my fingers, since this is a big piece of transfer tape, just to push that name down, and that'll hold just fine. You don't need to be too crazy with burnishing on these. You really, really don't. I'm gonna save that other piece of transfer tape for our other design. Now again, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get this lined up, and actually this one, you see how much faster this is gonna go? Because it's black on white, or white on black, and I can actually physically see that. Now that I've got the Bella down, you can burnish down your bunny, and you can remove your transfer tape from, well, your backing from your vinyl. And you're just gonna push this down. You wanna make sure all your pieces and parts stay down. Now this one has a lot of really thin lines, so I think I'm gonna go over this one more time with my squeegee. I didn't burnish him real hard, but you wanna give him a good burnish because he does have a lot of little tiny spots that you wanna make sure don't rip or don't come up. Now with this one, you can see that I'm kind of taking that backing off at a sharp angle. That's just to help those really thin lines stay down. And I want to make sure that those stay on my rabbit because I don't want to ruin him. All right, we just got a little further to go. We just got like one more little spot, I think. His ear doesn't want to completely... And you can see like I go in different like angles. That just helps it stay down. It's just one of those little tricks that you learn as you go. Now, remember this bunny, he is going to be layered on top. Now again, this is a situation where this is the same size as the one on top. So you want to try to make sure that you get this as clean and even as you can. So what I do is I just sort of look all around the rabbit and I just sort of very incrementally move the vinyl. And then I'm going to scooch out the parchment and get that all the way out. And now our bunny rabbit is layered. It's so stinking cute. We just have the one more to go, which is the one that has all of the little hearts on it. So we've got all 3 hearts, the name, all the things. Now, again, I can use a piece of transfer tape. I'm just going to kind of make sure I kind of get the Bella about where I need it. That looks pretty good. I just want to make sure that I have enough transfer tape to cover my whole design. Now, I will be honest, my Cricut cut the bottom part of the bee all the way through for some reason. So I do have a rip in the vinyl, but I didn't see the point in recutting it just for a little tiny piece that had ripped just because my Cricut decided it wanted to cut funny. So we're not going to worry about that. It won't make a difference with our design. Again, if I was giving this to somebody or this was going on something that, you know, I needed it to look really perfect, I would recut, but I don't need it to, so I'm not going to bother. Now what I want to do here, you can see you need to get this so that these little tips of your L's are lining up with those because that's the tips of your L's. So you want to get your B lined up and then you kind of play around with it until everything looks good and even, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to lay that down. Now, I wanted to show you this direction because you, like I said, with the bunny, you could do it a little different. And with this one, you can do it a little different too. So I put this on the backing, but now I can just peel this off and apparently accidentally peel that. But you can just peel this off and then you can move on to your next color. So I'm going to do the purple. And all I'm going to do is just use my hand, press it down. Doesn't need a whole lot of pressure when you're doing it this way. And then remember, this one is the one that has Bella around it. So again, I'm going to leave the little tail out, the little side here, and then I'm going to line up my heart and my words. Now I can go in a little further there. And you want to just take your time. And again, this is kind of hard to see. And also, I have studio lighting, which you would think would make this easier, but honestly, with the parchment paper, it does make it a little harder. So having a little less light might be better. Because again, I am having a heck of a time seeing with the glare. So I'm kind of going to have to put my head over top so I can just see a little bit better without a glare. I think that looks pretty okay. That might not be perfect, but it's pretty close if it's not perfect, and it should be fine. Now again, you're going to have to peel your transfer tape back, and you're going to want to just go slowly. And then you're gonna get your next color, which you can do either the pink or the purple, the light purple. Doesn't matter, really. Do whichever one is easiest for you. Now, I think with this purple one, I should be able to just do it without the parchment paper, so I can show you that as well. Because you don't necessarily have to do it this way. It's just a little easier because you can move things around. But when I've got one that's just like a single heart and it's small, I'm just gonna do it without. And then we'll put the pink one down. And burnish that with my finger, because again, these are pretty solid pieces and they should come off no problem. Then all you're going to do is line the pink heart up with your design, lay that down, and voila, you have your design. Now, showed you, this is so easy to do. It's really, really simple. You can do this with all sorts of different designs, and it's just a really fun way to make some fun looking designs. You can use names, words, whatever you want to do, and you can do this for all sorts of holidays and seasons and events. Bows would be so cute for cheerleaders. There's just a lot of ways that you can do this kind of design to make it your own. Now let me get you an up close view so you can see them a little bit better. Here are the finished designs. Now, like I said, you can do this with any image, any text, however you want to do these. Please do not judge that one. Like I said, I'm terrible at lining up white. It's just my eyes can't see it very well. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Be sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. If you're looking for a tutorial, by all means, let me know. Reach out. I'm happy to make tutorials that you guys want to see. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.